Hi, welcome to the PoliticAL update with me, Alexandra Acker-Lyons. I pay attention to the political news so you don't have to, and I give you the same advice I give to my millionaire clients. It is Friday, September 5th. How is it September already? I hope everybody had a lovely Labor Day weekend. Okay, candidate news. Some of the prognosticators have moved the Virginia governor's race to either lean Democrat or likely Democrat. This is in the wake of, even though several polls have showed the race tightening, Abigail Spanberger is just maintaining a really consistent high single digit polling margin. Several polls have shown that. It is not surprising that the polls are tightening as we get closer to the race. And again, we need her to win by a huge margin to help sweep in down ballot Democrats for both the House of Delegates and for Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General, which Attorney General in particular is showing a closer race. So keep donating, keep door knocking. I'm going out in October to knock some doors. And this is the bellwether race of the cycle. We absolutely must win, need to win by a lot. Abigail is a fantastic candidate and really excited to be supporting her. Also in New Jersey, which remains lean Democrat, those polls are also tightening, also normal. I think it is possible that New Jersey is closer than Virginia. We've just seen some movement there in the last few cycles, trending further to the right. We will get a good read out of both of these states as to whether or not Latino voters are kind of moving more Republican, or if the Trump 2024 numbers were a little bit of a blip. We have seen Latino voters kind of trend more towards Republicans over several cycles now. They are the new swing vote, as my friend Carlos Odio at Axios Research likes to say. Equis Research, sorry, not Axios. Axios is the media company. But continuing to keep an eye on these races and can't take our foot off the gas. In other candidate news, Dan Kleben has announced for the Senate in Maine. I've talked to him a couple of times. He's a great candidate. He is the co-founder of the Maine Beer Company. So now we have an oyster fisherman, a craft brew owner. All we need is like a lobsterman, and then we can have a really amazing meal together. So continuing to wait on whether or not Governor Janet Mills is going to run here. She's indicated she's not going to make a decision until November. I think that's too late. I wish she would make up her mind now. But we have some other great candidates running in Maine to try to unseat the spineless Susan Collins. In other political news, the Missouri legislature has started the redistricting process there to try to squeeze one more seat out. There are really good efforts to fight back in Missouri and Ohio and Utah. These are all states where the voters have said they want independent redistricting. And even though we think of them as red states, we are able to pass progressive ballot measures in a lot of these places. We need to make redistricting as politically painful as possible. Say that 3 times fast. For these legislators who are passing these terrible gerrymandered maps just because Donald Trump is waving his little magic wand around. Also want to call attention to a great article in the Atlantic about the Trump legal resistance. It talks a lot about several organizations that my clients help fund, and just kind of pointing out that the legal resistance has been really successful. I think that the protest resistance has also been really successful. And while I am very nervous about the Supreme Court taking some of these cases and deciding in really crazy ways for the Trump administration, we know that they only take a small percentage of cases. And so all of these legal strategies are incredibly important from the federal level on down to the local municipal level. We've seen a bunch of mayors and counties that are blue in red states be able to fight back. And Public Rights Project is a great group doing some of that work. So take a look at the Atlantic for that. Also want to note there is a great website called Courage Calls Us. That is couragecallsus.org that lists a bunch of resources for people who are looking for ways to donate to a lot of these efforts. So they have kind of a menu of options that you can choose from. And these are organizations that have been vetted, that are doing great work. Many of them are again, grantees of some of my clients, and highly recommend checking that out. Also had some conversations this week with both elected leaders and others. Not feeling awesome about the Democrats' shutdown strategy as that funding deadline looms. We saw last time that our leadership was ready to cave, and it's going to take us to give them the courage not to. We absolutely have to stand up for something. This is one of the very few moments of leverage we have when we are out of power. And I'm just really disappointed in a lot of our elected leadership. Not so much some of the rank and file members. Some of them are amazing and are really trying to fight back. And again, this is kind of that existential question within the Democratic Party right now. But just get ready. We're going to need to give some of our leaders some backbone. And then my shout out of the week goes to American Families for Vaccines, formerly the Safe Communities Coalition. It is familiesforvaccines.org. I was a founding board member of this organization, started before COVID, when I was kind of seeing some vaccine hesitancy when I was living in California and in my home county in New York State. And then obviously COVID has heightened all of this. RFK Jr. coming into HHS and taking over the CDC has just been a disaster. His testimony this week to the Senate was appalling. Good on a couple of Republicans for asking a couple of tough questions, but it is truly bananas what is happening, and it's scary. And another shout out goes to my governor, Jared Polis in Colorado, for issuing an executive order to overturn the initial stance that you had to have a prescription to get a COVID vaccine. So I'm going to go get mine in a couple of weeks, and my flu shot as well. And I just stay safe out there. These are crazy times, and we all have to do what we need to do personally, and then keep putting that pressure on, because we know that Americans overwhelmingly support vaccines. And we need to make sure that, again, we're applying that political pressure up and down. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.